Last night in Maction, really outside of the Northern Illinois game, it was just, it looked like the North Pole.
That was a blizzard.
It was a blizzard.
Yeah.
The Central Michigan, Western Michigan game, it was legitimately looked like it was being played in Siberia.
Beautiful.
Football
And
weather.
no, that's not, okay, that's
Football
what I was going to say. That is not football weather.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says, that is not football weather, okay? That's skiing weather. That's slaloming weather. That's, hey, let's put a half pipe in Norway and host the Olympics weather. Football weather is early fall, you know, early September.
That's part of it.
Late August. No, that's true football weather.
See, this is
that. You know what that weather is? That weather sucks.
Well,
That's what
that
it does.
too, but that's part of it. That's why football is the greatest sport. It has layers. It has complexity to it. When does football start? When does football start? In August. You're dying. The heat of the day. You know, you're dying on the field. Then you go through fall. Nice crisp fall. The leaves are falling. It's beautiful. Perfect time of year.
I'm gonna let you go.
And then when does it end? When does it end? We really want to find out. We want to separate the men from the boys. Okay, late in the fall, early winter, in the blizzard that we saw yesterday. That's what we found out.
It's
Baseball, we're going to start in the spring, and we're going to end before things get too, complex. This is what George Carlin was talking about.
Okay. Look, football to me is so violent. It's already separating the men from the boys. This isn't a Leonidas Spartans 300 to prove you're a man. You got to go into the snow in the jungle and kill a wolf that's 3 times your size and wear him back to the village. You want it because you want it to snow during the Michigan-Ohio State game, because that's going to totally even everything out, maybe even give you guys an advantage. But I refuse to believe. I coached in Montana, which is 33 miles away from the North Pole, speak of the devil. I signed a kid from Florida, really good player, 5A co-player of the year in the state of Florida. Got him up there to Montana. First couple games, fine. Cold, but fine.
Sure.
I forgot who we were playing. But I can't even remember the amount of snow. It was like up to, on video, it's like up to here in the chair. Enough where it goes almost up to your above your shin, okay? Which is a lot of snow. More than I'd ever seen. Didn't sign up for that. And I got in Montana in June. You want to talk about the ultimate trick?
Oh, yeah.
Get to Montana in June.
I got to Michigan in June.
Look around there. I was like a Disney princess. Like, they took me, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like a movie.
It was perfect.
And they kept telling me, like, wait till October, wait till October, wait till October. Oh, boy. Black ice? You got black ice? I don't know how you guys move around. I was like the kid from the Christmas Story walking. But that's not football weather. Football weather to me, it's really hot, all right? And then it moves into early fall. You know, like you said,
and then it moves into winter. Because we got
and then the football weather stops, and it just turns into this sucks.
I'll stand by this statement. All of the games that I was a part of in the Big House in Michigan, the second coldest game I've ever played in was a state championship in Georgia when we lost to Sean McVay's team.
You keep saying that. Like, it must have been
the coldest one was a game in the Big House. I think it was against Indiana. I would have been legitimately fine not coming out for the second half. It was that cold.
Oh, dude.
But the second coldest.
There were games at Western were like...
Yeah, you were next to the Grinch.
Level. Like, there were scientists
how bad was Colorado?
Like drills in the ice, studying stuff, and we're out there running plays. Like, it wasn't, there's a certain level to where it's not football weather anymore. Like, you can't play it. Like, if you're a receiver, they're throwing bricks at you.
Yeah.
Use your hands. There's no using your hands.
Here.
Unless you want your fingers to break, then use your hands. But that, you're catching with your pads. There's polar bears walking around. It's just the worst.
Yeah, you have to catch the ball in cold weather. You have to use a typewriter with your tongue.
Oh, God.
Use your hands. It's awful. Former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray is going to join us to preview Week 12. Gonzaga basketball lost to Texas last night. I'm so devastated. And we'll break down tonight's matchup between the Packers and the Titans. It's a big one. I'm Jake Crane, and this is Crane & Company. Now, there are trap games set up through every season in different parts of the season. And if you don't know what a trap game is or what that term means, it's basically the game before a huge game, typically against a lesser opponent. Now, it's hard enough to get the coaches not to look ahead, let alone the players. And some coaches, especially coordinators, want to save their best wrinkles for the bigger game, so it increases the chance of the other team being able to hang around and possibly win. But there is no bigger weekend of traps than the week before rivalry week. Even teams that may not be in the hunt for a national or conference championship can fall victim to this gridiron pandemic. Now, there are some great examples of trap games once again before we kick off rivalry week next week. For example, North Carolina hosting Georgia Tech. Doesn't even have a full-time coach. They're not going to be any good, right? LSU's going to host a scrappy UAB team. Oh, from Conference USA. You should steamroll them. Michigan's going to host an Illinois team that can really do some things as well. And their rival, Ohio State, is going to take a little trip to Maryland to play a Terrapins team that can put up some points. Now, we aren't going to count the FCS games because, let's face it, 99.9% of those are going to be one-sided. But when looking at this slate, the one game that does jump out to me as a legitimate trap game threat is that Michigan-Illinois game. Now, Michigan is hosting Illinois, and Chase Brown did get beat up a little bit last game. And Brown is pretty much the source of Illinois' offense for an overall defensive team. But they do have just enough athletes to be able to keep it close if Michigan doesn't show up or looks ahead or tries to play it too close to the vest before going to the horseshoe for an absolute showdown next week. Now, I would be willing to bet all of King Midas's silver that Illinois is going to load the box like a fat kid who makes his lunch every day. And J.J. McCarthy is going to have to prove to young DC superstar phenom Ryan Walters that he can throw to a win. Now, I believe he can because the kid doesn't have an ounce of muggle in him at the end of the day, but he really hasn't had to this year under game pressure. Now, if Illinois can accomplish that goal while not blowing it on offense or special teams, we may have an Admiral Akbar situation because, after all, nobody calls out traps like that guy does. All right, I'm going to bring in my co-host, David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback. Could have probably played small forward for the Celtics in the 60s and is really good at finite math. Not a lot of people know that. My brother, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, has a mustache, and he does a really good job hanging out in the chat. He's pretty good at Call of Duty, too. Cohn. Trap games.
Trap games.
As a player and as a coach, nothing worried me more as a coach than the trap game. Now, as a player, you hear the coach say, this is a trap game. Don't fall for the trap. But you know as well as I do,
enough.
That's not enough. You watch the film, I watch the film, and players, it's hard to change their perspective once they see the visual. But that's where you lean on experience and the older guys. That's where the guys that have been there for 3, 4, 5 years that have been through this, the guys that are in the QB room that are older, wide receiver room that are older, tight end room that are older, every position group, stand up. The best thing I ever saw, our head coach at South made the guys stand up and say, listen, from a player standpoint, I'm telling you guys right now, we have got to play this game like we're playing the Super Bowl. That's why what Nick Saban's done has been so impressive, because he talks about it's not about the other team, it's about us. And when you have that mindset, it lessens the chance to fall for the trap. Did you guys ever lose a trap game that you guys shouldn't have lost at Michigan that you can remember?
Well, we lost to Appalachian State in the opener before we played Oregon. So
see, it's hard for a trap game to be the opener. You haven't played so long.
So I don't know. That one doesn't even have a definition. That doesn't even fall into a category.
I'm just
this week of games, though, has always fascinated me because rivalry week is so important to a lot of these schools. Just like you guys know, I mean, the Iron Bowl. So one thing, I'm looking at a few of these trap games differently. You brought up Michigan, Illinois. A few points on that. One, since Illinois has been having a good season the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think Michigan fans have circled that game as, hey, don't let this be the ruiner of all your dreams. Illinois can play, and you may have to play them again in the Big Ten Championship if you get there. So that's one point on that. Also, like I said yesterday, I think, Michigan could honestly possibly lose this game, and still, this is the benefit of a 4-team playoff. Go on the road, beat the Buckeyes, win the Big Ten Championship, and still be in the conversation for the college football playoff. You don't want that to happen, obviously, if you're a Michigan fan, but it is at least possible. Whereas I'm looking around to like what you said with North Carolina, playing a Georgia Tech team that's proven that they can spoil some seasons.
Yeah, nothing to
earlier in the
lose.
Season. Exactly. And you know you're going to play the two toughest teams on your schedule later in the season, or the last week of the season, and the conference championship in NC State and Clemson. And you're on the outside looking in. You have a shot for the first time in a long time to be in the college football playoff conversation. Don't slip up against Georgia Tech, especially when your defense has been giving up points, and let that cost you. I'm also looking at LSU right now, because everybody's been telling LSU, all you have to do is go on the road to Arkansas and on the road to Texas A&M, two teams that aren't powerhouses this year. If you do that, you'll be able to compete in the SEC championship.
Don't forget about UAB.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. That's who they play this week. That's what everybody's been telling LSU. Well, they got by the first hurdle, right? Arkansas on the road. They are officially going to play in the SEC championship, no matter what happens to Texas A&M at the end of the season. But they have UAB this week. And you played for her, Vincent, right? You know what UAB can do. My point is, they could still win the SEC championship, LSU I'm talking about, even if they lost to UAB. But I don't think a 3-loss
No, they're not getting
There's no way.
get in. That's why I'm looking at that game as a serious trap.
Yeah, if LSU loses, another regular season game, I just see no way. Even if they beat, as crazy as this sounds, even if they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, I don't think a 3-loss LSU goes to the playoff. Is there one that's standing out to you, Blaine?
No, I don't think that people are talking about Georgia and Kentucky enough. God, Georgia's a 22-point favorite. You know, every time I watch Georgia, kind of play Kentucky, it's always somewhat close. This game is on the road at Kentucky. I'm pretty sure Will Levis will be starting. This is a sneaky game that Georgia can't take for granted, because I know this Kentucky team just lost to Vanderbilt. Okay, I know. And it's a terrible look. But this defense for Kentucky has been good all year. Not a bad team. And they get going early, they have a chance. You mentioned, I'm going to go Baylor, TCU, obviously. I think Michigan's a lot better team than Illinois, to be honest. I think they're going to win that game. They're an 18-point favorite. But, the LSU UAB, that's nothing to play around with. I promise you, you're a 14-point favorite. UAB is full of kids who are good enough to play in the SEC.
Yep.
They are. They have guys on that team that can go and get it. So right now, LSU and this Georgia-Kentucky game is what's interesting to me.
Yeah, I think Kentucky, I wonder what the weather's going to be for that game, because I wonder if there's that cold front moving through or anything. They're going to need some help. But I do like what you said about Kentucky losing to Vanderbilt. Not that I think they're going to beat Georgia, but it may not be a bad idea to take Kentucky minus 22 and plus 22.5, because it's so embarrassing what happened to them last week. And I don't mean any disrespect to Vanderbilt, but it's the truth, let's be honest. It's so embarrassing what happened to them last week. What's one way that you can totally wipe that from everybody's memory, at least for a little bit? What's your one neuralizer play? Hey, Agent J. Hey, Agent B. Oh, I don't remember anything. You beat Georgia. You lose to the worst team? How do you erase it? You beat the best team. Yeah. So if you're Kentucky, and I'm Mark Stoops, all week, it's kind of like, on Dumb and Dumber, when he pulls up on the interstate, on that little scooter. And he's like, just what I thought. You couldn't get any dumber. You go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself.
It's going to be 48 degrees and sunny.
Oh, that's not good for Kentucky. That's not good. If I was Kentucky, I hope it would be negative 48 degrees and there'd be a chance of alien invasion or something. I mean, you would, or Red Dawn. I mean, if there's ever a time to get invaded, it's a great time now for Kentucky to try and be able to squeeze that one out. But no, it's going to be interesting to watch. I have a feeling somebody's going down. Somebody's going down this weekend.
You think so?
And now, well, I don't think Michigan's going to lose. And Georgia Tech, I mean, I know that they have an interim, but right now they're just kind of like that gang of kids walking around the street. Like, you never know what they're going to do. The parents aren't there. You got your kids that come from nice homes, and the parents, you be home before the street lights, let mommy make you a peanut butter and jelly, I'll cut the crust off. Then you have those old school kids walking around with baseball bats, like picking on the ugly ones and stuff, and stealing candy and cigarettes from the gas station. Like, I feel like Georgia Tech, you got nothing to lose. Who's gonna give me trouble? Who's gonna give me trouble? I'm 14. What are they gonna do to me? So the Georgia Tech one's kind of scary. That Roman gang of kids with no repercussions for their actions.
Seriously.
It's kind of scary. And I'm not saying Georgia Tech's a bunch of kids are gonna steal from a guy. I'm using that as a euphemism for not having anything to lose.
We're already getting reports
and there's no room for
CNN.
error.
Yeah.
And for North Carolina, there's no room for error.
No room for error.
With some of the, with Georgia, I think Georgia's in the playoff if they lose to Kentucky. And just like I was just saying, if they go and win the SEC championship, there's a little bit more room for error. No room for error with North Carolina. On the Michigan point, too, one thing Jim Harbaugh has done really well since he's gotten to Michigan is beating the teams he's supposed to beat.
I thought you were going to say wear khaki shorts.
He does that as well. Well, pants.
Okay,
and cleats, yes.
Yeah.
The biggest complaint for most of those seasons was not being able to win his rivalry games, performing poorly in bowl games, but winning the games that he's supposed to when he's favored against teams as something that Jim Harbaugh has done well. He's been able to keep his teams focused for those sorts of games. So it should be a good one either way.
Yeah.
And I have 2 neighbors who are Illinois fans now.
Nice.
On the same street. Who would have thought?
Really?
We got a Buckeye at the end of the street. 2
Y'all just
Illinois,
got a Big Ten. What's the name of the neighborhood? Like Big Ten West?
It's Canterbury, but, you know.
Oh, nice. Well, same thing.
Sounds like a rough neighborhood.
Same thing. Speaking of traps, don't get trapped with a bad coffee routine. There's a lot of pretenders out there. I'm going to give you a coffee company that's not a pretender. That's our friends at Black Rifle. If you go to blackriflecoffee.com and you use our promo code BOOSTER, that's BOOSTER, you get 10% off coffee, coffee gear, apparel, or when you sign up for a new coffee club subscription. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER. In this economy, you're welcome for 10% off. Black Rifle Coffee, they support veterans. They're America's coffee. You can sign up your Secret Santa for a coffee club subscription. What a great idea. It's not a secret anymore. It's the best coffee. All right, they have the most exotic roasts from around the globe. Think about that for a second. All coffee is, if they have the best brewing gear, thermoses, I haven't said that word in a while, mugs, and apparel like I mentioned earlier. And it's designed for folks who love our country and they love coffee. And nothing is more American than waking up and drinking coffee that was roasted in Colombia, sent to Brazil, transported to Mexico, and drank in America. That's Black Rifle Coffee, baby. They're the best around.
Silencer smooth, 5 alarm, just black, thin blue line, coffee or die. One of the roasts is coffee or die. That's how you know.
That's exactly
how you know. Go ahead and pick you up some coffee or die.
You take one sip of that, and I mean, you turn into a superhero.
I got to have some every morning.
Yeah, I do too.
Every time I get it, I'm not the same guy if I don't have my.
Like I'm wondering though, I am wondering. I've drank so much coffee in my life, like just from a caffeine standpoint, I've got to have like it just built up an unbelievable tolerance to it. I think you could inject me with 35 cc's of pure caffeine and do nothing.
Oh, that's why they have the roast here, Beyond Black. They have Beyond Black, Blackbeard's Delight.
Blackbeard's Delight.
Blackbeard's Delight. That one's really good. Actually, I got that one for my brother last Christmas.
Blackbeard's Delight on Anchorman.
Is it?
Is it Blackbeard's Delight?
I think so, yeah.
They have Freedom Fuel. I haven't tried that one. Fit Fuel. I haven't tried that one, boys. They have some new ones on here. Murdered Out. All black package.
Serious?
I haven't tried that one either.
Murdered Out.
Murdered Out coffee?
Extra dark roast. I'm just
telling you what
they have there.
I want to have the whip murdered out and my coffee murdered out. So yeah, Black Rifle Coffee.
Just when you thought you built up a tolerance.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We take it to the next level.
Yeah.
What's going on in the club?
All right, let's go to Seth Williams for the Daily Wire chat. It says, greetings from Qatar.
Oh,
really?
Where the World Cup is.
Okay.
Stay safe over there, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's go to Quasi Terrible. It says, with the announcement of Notre Dame requiring vax for all students, even the online students, how can anyone keep rooting for them? I got to find a new school to follow now.
I want to see what Colleen has to say about it.
Yeah. Online?
Yeah.
My thing is, why can't we just let people, if they want to take it, and if not, I mean, it's in tuberculosis, man. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I really don't. But nothing shocks me with Notre Dame. Any team that won't join a conference, I don't trust. It's like people, you can fit a pizza box in their smile. You can't trust them.
Let's go to Hugh_3. It says, football weather is under 30 degrees. I played JUCO ball in Eli, Minnesota.
Oh,
it's 30 minutes
you must
from
love the
border.
game.
I loved it so much, and I'm also a Michigan fan.
Go Blue,
okay,
baby.
Where are you
yes,
from?
sir.
Where are you from, though? Because if you grew up in that, that's different. If I grow up in the Arctic, you know, that's fine to me.
Yeah.
I go to Central Michigan and it'll be like a sunny day. But if I grew up in Alabama, I go up to Eli, Minnesota, it's going to be freezing. I can't feel my hands or my face. And I'm not talking about the weekend.
I was from South Georgia, boys.
Yeah.
When people found out I committed, the only thing everybody would say day after day after day, boy, I heard you going to Michigan. better get you a jacket.
Yeah.
No,
and like, the thing is, like, people don't know what jackets to wear down here.
No.
When I went up, first when I went up to Iowa when I was coaching, they're like, we need to take you and get you like some real winter gear. It's like, this isn't like North Face. Like I'm wearing my Wallabies and North Face around the high school, trying to look like somebody from Dawson's Creek. Like this is like legitimately,
insulation.
You need to have this.
Insulation.
Yeah, you need to have this.
All right, Greg Hart, $20 donut. He says, with Verlander winning Cy Youngs, that means former Tiger has 8 Cy Youngs in the last 11 years. Price, Verlander, Scherzer, and Porcello, all in 2014 Tigers rotation. Is that the most disappointing baseball team ever?
Wow.
One of them.
about Scherzer.
One of them, and you hate it for Detroit. I mean, and not just from the pitching side. I mean, look at the guys you had at the dish. Like it's, and I always, for some reason, like the Tigers. I don't know why. Yeah. I always liked Detroit, but no, and people forget Rick Porcello was out there just, I mean, throwing spells at people. I mean, throwing spells and frisbees. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Was that YouTube chat there?
It was.
Ooh, let's keep going. Get a couple more.
Let's go to M. Hutton. He says UAB ranks 5th in rushing yards per game. LSU ranks 40th in rushing yards given up. UAB is fighting for bowl eligibility. Don't sleep on the Blazers.
Yep. Hey, look, under.
You like the under in that? What's the under?
Well, I don't know. I'm saying if UAB is going to try and limit possessions and run the ball and slow the clock, and LSU isn't going to just break out a brand new bag of plays that they're saving not only for A&M, but they got an SEC championship game too, fellas. You want to talk about kind of a conundrum. You don't want to go out there and just throw bread and butter base at them. Inside zone, split zone. Here, we'll mix up inside zone. Let's just duo it. It's going to be interesting to see that how LSU not only plays the UAB game, but going to play a Texas A&M team that is not going to a bowl and has a worse record than Vanderbilt.
That too. LSU minus 14.5 right now hosting UAB.
Yep.
Over under 52.5.
Ooh, that under just, I like it.
Just don't know. I don't know.
I
got to look more into it. Let's go.
Harold Perkins may just win the game for him by himself, though.
Yeah, he probably played quarterback, head coach.
He's helped stop Thanos. Not a lot of people know that.
I didn't know that, to be honest.
You didn't?
I didn't know he helped stop Thanos.
Yeah, he did.
I thought it was a rumor.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Sean Pennison, the hashtag
has it.
#AskCraney says, all right, speaking of disappointments, who ends the season with more wins, Texas A&M or Nebraska?
What's Nebraska at right now? I know A&M's at what, 3-7?
I'm pulling up Nebraska right now.
3-7?
3-7, boys.
Nebraska's 3-7. They got Wisconsin and Iowa left.
0-2.
A&M has UMass and the LSU tag.
Well, it's there you go. Your common denominator. Well, not common denominator, but the edge goes to obviously A&M because they play UMass, who's ass. I'll let you figure that one out. One more.
Let's go to. This would be a good one. All right, yeah. Let's go back to Stephen Moore. He says JJ is throwing 69% with only 2 interceptions. The deep go route's the only route where they haven't excelled yet this year. 20-yard dig's been well. Does he make the long throws he needs to make against Illinois to win?
Against Illinois, I don't know. I think the run game's really going to take over. Another thing he's doing really well is throwing on the move. He's throwing on the move. Now, that interception that he threw in the first half against Penn State when he was rolling out and it got returned for pick six, well, it was surprising because he does throw so well on the move. Yes, he's overthrowing too many deep balls. Look, that's not something that randomly in the middle of the season you just fix, but I do think he's going to connect on one of those.
Yeah,
he's going to connect.
Yeah. Well. Here's the thing. JJ McCarthy is a good. He's a passer. Mm-hmm. He's not a thrower. He's not a guy that's out there just throwing. You can see the anticipation. He knows when to say when to throw the fastball, when to throw the changeup. But if Michigan wants to win a national championship, I'm not even talking about Illinois. All right, I'm talking about against Ohio State. And I'm talking about when they get in the playoff. At some point, you have got to connect on those verticals. Mm-hmm. You have got to get explosives. If not just to let the other team know that you can hit it.
Sure.
All you got to do is hit it once. Put it on film a couple times. And the one person that's going to benefit the most from that is not J.J. McCarthy. It's not the receivers. It's Blake Corum, your true Heisman candidate. Mm-hmm. Because if I know that you're a threat outside and I can't sit there and just run man free the whole time, or I can't go cover zero, or I can't play a low shelf in zone and try and load the box and get an extra hat in there, that is going to give a Michigan offensive line that I love to watch play football and a running back in Blake Corum that I also love to watch play football, give him a little more space. And all Blake Corum needs, who to me, his comp is Austin Eckler. That's who he is to me. I think there's a lot of similarities in how they're built and how they run and what they can do out of the backfield to catching the ball, because I do think Blake is a pretty good pass protector as well. That all he needs is an inch. You give that guy an inch, he's going to take those tree trunk legs and run straight through it, run over a guy, get to the safety, break a tackle, and go score. So the more they're able to push the ball down the field, the more they will be able to threaten the Georgias and the Ohio States and the Clemsons, if you see them, and those guys that have defenses that are good enough to stop that run game. Because it's going to come down to, at some point, the defense getting a big stop and the offense being able to hit the deep third. I don't care if it's a vertical or if it's a post or it's post wheel and you hit number 2 who wheeled it off the backside of the post to the field. At some point, you've got to hit it. You got the cats that can do it. Ronnie Bell. I can go down the list. They got
Roman
cats
Wilson.
that can do it. Roman Wilson.
Andrell Anthony.
Fantastic football name, by the way.
Yeah, you make a very important distinction there, because as much as I would love to see J.J. McCarthy hitting 50-yard bombs down the field, and as much as I think they are going to need to be able to get vertical like that to beat some of the better teams in the country, what Michigan fans need to see even more right now is for J.J. McCarthy to pull the ball off that RPO when he's supposed to, make the right decision, and then hit slants and seams off that when he's supposed to. So as sexy as the 50-yard bomb is on a 5 and hitch, what I really want to see is when that defensive end crashes, because you have 8 in the box, maybe even 9 in the box to stop Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, pull that when you're supposed to, take off and run yourself if that's what the play dictates, or hit that slant off the RPO. We saw Tua Tagovailoa do it for 2 years at Alabama with the utmost success. So that's what Michigan needs to see even more from him.
All right, let's get to rapid fire.
Rapid fire. I have a button for that. All right, boys, the Titans.
Yeah.
At Green Bay tonight, Thursday Night Football. Who you got?
You know, I look at the weather. I don't think Christian Watson's going to score 3 touchdowns again for the Packers. But when you look, initially you would say, all right, advantage in the run game goes to the Titans. You got Derrick Henry. You know your identity. The weather's going to be freezing cold. I think it's going to be windy. I don't trust Ryan Tannehill anyway. The Titans have scored 17 points, I think, in their last 3 games. Or averaged 17 points on offense. That's not going to be good enough even with that bad weather. But what if I told you that the Packers were a better rushing team than the Titans were? I think that surprised a little bit, some people a little bit, especially with Aaron Rodgers. But when you look at their wide receiver core, it shouldn't surprise anybody. I think this game is going to be a low-scoring, run the ball, play action, short to intermediate passing game. Not saying guys won't take shots, but the team that is able to line up and get in 2nd and 6 through the run game, Derrick Henry's probably going to have 25 carries in this game for the Titans. He's going to have to. I got Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones on my fantasy team. So I'm hoping it's just a rush festival, like, going to a concert back in the 80s or 70s whenever Rush was around. Sorry, that wasn't my generation, so I don't know. Even though they make great music. I like the Packers at home. I think they're 3.5-point favorites here because when it comes down to it, one team has Ryan Tannehill and one team has Aaron Rodgers. And I do not think that Ryan Tannehill is good enough to take the Titans to the promised land. I will continue to say it. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a bad husband. I'm not saying he's a bad father. I'm not even saying he's a bad football player. He started quarterback in the NFL. Must be pretty good at something. But I don't think he is in the top tier or the top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL. And I don't think in these conditions with that wide receiver core, because, I mean, look, Westbrook Akine, it's a nice story. Okay, it's a nice story. But they're not hitting explosives on the outside either. This is not a dangerous team. All right, it's not a dangerous team. So I like the Packers tonight at home. Lambeau and Aaron are the difference tonight.
Blaine, Titans first place in the AFC South. Packers second place in the NFC North right now. Who you like?
I like the Packers, but God, do I love the under.
Is that 41 right now?
41.5. I'd buy it up to 42.5 if I did it. Well, I'm really interested to see how Aaron Rodgers' these receivers play again. Tennessee's extremely good defense, especially in the secondary. McQuarrie's been good from Auburn all year. Christian Watson, how he gets involved. A.J. Dillon will be a big part in this game. The carries split between him and Aaron Jones. And I need Derrick Henry to have a better week than he did last week.
Me too.
I know you do. But I'm interested to see. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. This got Packers written all over it. I would take Packers by at least a field goal, but close. Ryan Tannehill will be forever mid. So, I mean, he's not going to be any better than that. You've seen your ceiling with Ryan Tannehill, so you know what you have. Sooner or later, you're going to put Malik Willis in. You got to grow from there. So whenever they pull the trigger, when Mike Vrabel decides it's time, I think it's been time because you already know what you have with Ryan Tannehill, so the sooner the better. But give me the Packers to cover and the under.
They put Malik in last week. He fumbled.
Yeah.
Play.
Well, they ran that kind of like reverse. They tried to give him a speed
darn
sweep or something like that. Put him under center and let him play quarterback.
Yeah,
Not out there to take the speed sweep. I'm out there to hand the speed sweep or fake the speed sweep.
Fair enough on that. All right, next one here, rapid fire. College basketball last night. Look, Gonzaga fell to Texas. Don't look at me like that. And Houston looked good too, and Michigan looked good as well. So we had three solid games last night.
Somebody hit me up on Twitter the minute Gonzaga just started getting slapped around and was like, hey, I'm going to be listening to the show tomorrow. I'm sure you're going to talk about Gonzaga. I'll definitely be there. And I was like, I'll see you there, my friend. Fake news, Gonzaga. And it's one game, okay, I get it. In Texas, look, Tyrese Hunter looked great. Texas is a pretty good squad. Like I mean, they're kind of putting their heads together, figuring it out. But look, Coach Beard, nobody should be surprised. I mean, all the dude's done is win. Going from Texas Tech to Texas, ruffled a lot of feathers.
I know,
which is
people were mad about
a great atmosphere for that rivalry, which is two great basketball teams. I love the way Texas Tech plays.
Texas Tech
kind of plays like Houston. Yeah, I think they may have split.
I think
I think they either split or Texas Tech won both. I can't remember.
Okay, Texas Tech won one for sure.
Yeah. So when I look at Gonzaga, I'll say it again. I don't think they're physical, and basketball is a physical sport. And when it comes down to it and winning national championships, that's why they haven't won one. And until they do. Until they're an overtly physical team. The most physical team that I saw was the team that played Baylor in the national championship. That was the most physical Gonzaga team that I saw. You just happened to run into a buzzsaw. Baylor was one of the most physical basketball teams I've ever seen in my life when you watch those guys. But Gonzaga, here's what will happen. Gonzaga probably won't lose again. All right? They play Alabama coming up, which should be a good game. Bama beat them to sleep last year.
They did.
If I remember correctly.
Bama had the best wins and the worst
losses. Yeah, they beat Gonzaga and then lose to Providence Tech.
It was bad.
Of the blind and hopeless. So here's what's going to happen. Gonzaga probably won't lose another preseason game. Then they're going to go to their conference where the parents still work at the concession stands. They got volleyball lines on the court. You can go get sour straws. They have to pause the game because kids are running out in the court. And they're going to slap around all of them. And then they're going to go to the NCAA tournament and not make it past the Elite Eight. Like, I'll say it again. I'll say, what's today? November what?
November 17th.
17th. November 17th, 2022. The year of our Lord. Gonzaga's not making it past the Elite Eight, okay? They'll talk about him. And Jay Billis and all these guys will talk about Mark Few and what a great job he's doing. And Mark has done a great job. But they're going to gas Gonzaga up. Nolan Hickman for Player of the Year. Drew Timme, the senator, out here just doing his thing. And they're going to blow it again to somebody that's overtly physical. Like, I don't know, Arkansas or somebody like that. So I'm going to have to listen to this again all the way from the end of November to December, January, February. Then in March, Papa gets to get in his bag again. All right? So, Gonzaga fans, love that you're joining the conference. I told you that yesterday. Super duper proud of you. But I still don't believe in you. And I won't until I see you play physical.
That does just sound like you were just talking about Notre Dame that entire time in football. That entire time. We're watching them do this and beat these teams. Then when it comes down to it, we're going to watch them get killed in the playoffs.
Notre Dame's won.
Gonzaga's doing what?
Notre Dame's won championships, though.
That's true.
They've won championships in the history of their program.
Well, yeah.
I love the
Has Gonzaga never won a championship?
Never.
You don't deserve to.
But you know they're going to be there in March, and they have experience with Drew Timme. I'm going to have to be the resident Gonzaga supporter on this show. Right?
I'm not supporting Gonzaga. I'm just telling the truth. Like yesterday on social media, all I did was post the SEC West teams that have won SEC championships since they split divisions in 1992, and SEC East teams that have won the SEC championship since they split divisions in 1992. And the Ole Miss fans just freaked out.
What were the findings?
You knew what you were.
Yeah, survey says none. And they're like, and again, that's okay. A&M doesn't have any. Now they joined, like 10 years ago, whatever it was. But it's just amazing how people freak out about facts. Like I put that out there. I'm going to do one for the Big Ten today. But they're just instantly the Ole Miss fans like, you did this so Lane Kiffin could see it. You don't think Lane Kiffin knows that? You don't think Lane Kiffin knows that? He does know that. But like you see the insecurity of people pop up when you post like factual stats. That would like me saying water is wet, or like it's going to rain at some point in the future, and everybody being like, whoa, well, if it's going to rain in the future, then blah, 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 blah. They're just facts. I'm sorry. And there's the guy we work for here has a good saying, facts don't care about your feelings. Okay? It doesn't define you as a person. Doesn't mean you're not a winner in life. Like you just hadn't won the West. I'm sorry. You know who else didn't win the West? Germany in the 40s.
Feifel did.
Feifel did. He went West.
Feifel went West and won the West.
Like, it doesn't define you as a person if your team hasn't won the West. Some of y'all need to get y'all's priorities straight. Y'all got kids out here struggling to read, and y'all worried about y'all's team win the West. Unbelievable.
All right, a couple updates here from Major League Baseball. Justin Verlander, just like we suspected, won the AL Cy Young. How about Sandy Alcantara for the NL?
Yeah, look, if you're the Marlins, at least something good happened.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm Sandy Alcantara, I'm just, you know, at some point, I'm like, trade me.
Buck Showalter, fourth Manager of the Year award with 4 different squads.
That is impressive.
And then Mariners trade for
Teoscar Hernandez.
Teoscar Hernandez.
Here's the thing about him. They traded with the Blue Jays. Okay, I think the Mariners did win the trade. Hernandez is when he hits the ball, he has one of the hardest contact rates of any player out there. The problem is he has really high swing and miss, and he's an absolutely liability on defense. You got to put him in the corner of the outfield. It's like the old Little League rule. Like, all right, you're playing right field. You're probably not the best player on the team. Okay, if he's able to hit the ball more consistently, he has unbelievable pop. And I mean, his numbers aren't horrible, but the swing and miss rate, just like about 70% of baseball right now, needs to improve. But I do think that the Mariners won this trade, and I'm slow. You know what? I'm going to come out and say it. All right? I'm a Braves fan. Y'all know that overall. But if it comes down to the American League, my favorite team is the Mariners.
Okay.
It is. Top 5 uniform in professional sports.
It is nice.
Top 5 uniform in professional sports.
It is nice. How much of that is because you were a Ken Griffey Jr. fan?
Some, but I was also a Jay Buhner fan. I was an Edgar Martinez fan.
Alex Rodriguez.
Young A-Rod, skinny A-Rod.
Young A-Rod before he went to the Rangers.
That's exactly right.
How about
Randy
the big
Johnson?
Unit? Yes.
Yeah, out there throwing fire at people.
Hey, you're out.
Yeah. Hey, downset, you're out.
What a squad.
I love Logan Gilbert. I just love the way that team's trending. J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez out there, superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's going to hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases.
Blaine, is Verlander going to stay in Houston?
He can do whatever the hell he wants to do.
He said he wants that Scherzer money, and he deserves it.
He deserves it. If not, if Verlander just wants to go home for the rest of his life, be at home, I get it.
I would too with Kate.
I get it.
I'd never leave.
I get it.
I'd go from there to the ballpark. That's it.
Justin needs to be studied in a lab on how we get to this point. How do you get to throw 96, right, and then go home to Kate Upton, right? What did you do growing up? Is it mental? You know, is it physical? Did you work every day at it? How did you get to where? Because look, if Justin came out right now, you want to talk about announcing your presidency, throw the last pitch of the World Series, win it, kiss Kate Upton and say I'm running for president. Yeah. I'm voting for his ass.
Yeah, I'm voting for him. Like, you got my vote.
That is a good announcement.
I'm with him.
Yeah.
I'm with him.
I'm with him.
I'm with him.
All right, there's one more thing we have to talk about here. Have you guys been tracking this FTX situation, the crypto trading company that collapsed?
It's hilarious.
The naming rights for the Heat have come down now for the Heat Stadium. I mean, this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, who started this thing, there's been a class action lawsuit filed so far. It also names Tom Brady, Gisele Bündchen, Steph Curry, Shaq, David Ortiz, Shohei Ohtani, Naomi Osaka. I mean,
they all got the same.
Mark Cuban had the Mavericks travel and sell this app.
This is why, I'll give you a great example.
Ooh.
This is why I don't vouch for financial things, okay, like this. Because if it goes down like this, guess what? LeBron's in it as well. They're coming after you, and they're going to get money. They're
$11 billion suit right now.
And, you know, I feel horrible for the common man that lost money on this deal. I do. But for all these super rich people that think they're better than everybody else, and it's not all of them, but the LeBrons and all this, part of me wants to see him go down like a sweet muffin. And look, LeBron's not going to run out of money or anything like that, but they need to be held accountable for this. Now, did they go out there? Was LeBron sitting there on his computer researching the way that FTX works? No. Somebody told him it was a good idea. It's probably the same group of people. You talk about Naomi Osaka and Steph Curry. There's probably just about 6 to 10 people in this circle. But don't be surprised if that dude, as we say, where I'm from, the state of Alabama, falls up the steps.
I feel like it's the same thing with the Brett Favre situation.
Yeah.
You know, like Brett Favre's not researching which of these pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can make money if you invest here. All right,
just because
but you'll never.
you throw a football really well doesn't mean you're good at math.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And Tom Brady, you saw Tom come out and had a commercial.
Yeah.
Whole 9 yards.
Steph?
And Steph had a commercial. The thing about it is, this kid's in the Bahamas right now. That's what they
Tax haven.
Yeah, they're in the Bahamas right now trying to get extradited back to America. And the thing about this is they came out, and after everything, you know how the New York Times is, said no mention of fraud. He just in over his skis. This man lost billions of investors' money, ran with it, knew it had a back door built into it, which is genius. But he comes out, he's a vegan and looks like, look, there's a way a vegan body looks like, and that's not it. That dude's eating me. This dude is just a walking liar. That's what he is. And it worked. And it worked. And he got all these people's money. Now he got caught. Point. Yeah, to this point. But it worked. I mean, billions, dude. And it's supposed to be the safest crypto. Crypto's in a bad place right now.
That's why I don't tell. And again, I don't.
Are you holding crypto right now?
I don't know enough about it, but I just didn't trust it from the rip. I'm sure there's some good crypto. Our buddy Moscona hit me up, and he's like, not everything's the same. But look, I don't trust you. You know what I want my money to have on it? I want Ben Franklin on it.
See, but there's a problem there with inflation.
You know what? At least they're not gonna backdoor me, and Ben Franklin's not gonna run to the Bahamas.
Who's the guy who's been trying to sell me gold for the last 40 years?
Maybe he's right. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I think they love when there's inflation. Those guys that want to sell gold, they're like, we told you.
Oh yeah,
paper money's terrible.
No, but now interest rates have gone up, which brings the price of gold down a little bit. But look, it's always going to be it's a value, it's an asset. But you're talking about the athletes not knowing. Right, like what they're investing in or what they're doing. That was the whole point, especially with Steph's commercial. Remember that one where he's like, I don't need to know about crypto. That's why I have FTX. So it was almost like playing into that, and you're just strictly an influencer. You just want the affiliation with it. William Devane.
Yeah, that's him. William Devane. He always starts it off. He's like, our country's going to hell.
Yeah, like literally, he starts off with
if you buy gold.
Yeah, the number going up. I saw this commercial the other day, had the number up above him, the national debt.
Like the debt.
And it kept going up. He's like, one thing that never changes, gold. Then he had like 4 guys in like a Zoom call talking about how great it is to buy gold. And I was like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, they got like the guys from around the horn talking about gold. It's like, I don't trust it. All right, we got Aaron Murray coming in here in a second, but let's get to the Booster Club before we do that.
Okay, let's go to Malcolm Martin. He says, he wants to know, Hutton, what's your beef with the SEC because they are the better conference? Huddy, it's true. Travis Elrod, #Cranico. With the addition of Gonzaga and Houston to the Big 12, is the Big 12 the best conference in the country now?
In basketball?
In basketball.
So is it official with Gonzaga?
I haven't seen anything official.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I know. Well, the Pac-12 was trying, which the Pac-12 makes the most sense.
Why wouldn't you go get Gonzaga if you're the Pac-12?
Yeah, I know USC and UCLA are leaving. It just makes sense. But again, have you seen the way it goes down in California? Nothing would surprise me out there. But yes, yeah. I mean, you talk about the ACC. Syracuse looks terrible. I mean, North Carolina. Obviously, we know what Caleb Love and those guys can do. Armando Bacot. Duke, we're going to keep seeing it. They lost the other night to Kansas, the defending national champion, who's just full of witches. It's a Hocus Pocus 2 movie. But when I look at the Big 12 now, with as good as Houston's going to be, and you add in the Zags, who, again, this will win Gonzaga a national championship. This will make them more physical because they're going to have to be to survive. You're going to have to evolve to survive. You're not going to be able to go in there to Candyland and some of these places they play, like the San Diego Tech of Computer and Science School that they play, where the tallest kid is, one of the guys who just won a house seat in California's son that's 6'4". All right, you got to go against Houston, some dogs. All right, you're gonna have to go against Baylor, some dogs. You know that. You're going to have to go against TCU, guys that are physical, where you're going to have to learn to play a physical brand of basketball. You just can't out-height and out-talent people. And that's what Gonzaga's been able to do for the most part. And they're able to do that, and they're able to rest and be healthy. That's what we talk about some of these teams that have made the playoff from outside conferences that, Notre Dame, like we've talked about sometimes, not this year, their schedule's really tough, but in the years they haven't played the best schedules, they're able to rest and get guys that are healthy and more fresh. Now, it didn't matter for them at the end of the day, but I think this is going to be the best thing to happen for Gonzaga. This is the way they can win a national championship because you have to become a physical team to survive in the Big 12. And maybe that's why they want to go to the Big 12. I don't know. Who knows?
All right, Peyton Fitzgerald with the $10 donut. I appreciate it, Peyton. Morning, gentlemen. Morning,
Peyton.
This is my first live show since I started watching in the summer. Hell yeah, brother. Can't tell y'all how much I love this show as a University of Florida student.
Okay.
What are the chances the Gators finish this season 8-4? I will pull up their schedule right now.
Thanks for watching, Peyton.
Yeah, appreciate you, Peyton. Okay, so
6-4 right now.
you got Florida State, obviously.
You go
at
2
home.
Vandy and 2 Florida State.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell everybody this right now. Everybody is just all hot on Vandy. Went over the surprise Kentucky. They're a 14.5-point underdog at home. Buy that thing down to 13.5 and take Florida. I'm just telling you, don't fall for the trap. Don't fall for the trap, I promise you. Because Florida just watched what happened with Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
They watched that. They know. There's no having to convince Florida, oh, it's Vanderbilt. They're not any good. We're not in math class, or it's not a debate team performance or some interpretive dance recital. You're not going to have to convince Florida that Vanderbilt can sneak up and bite you. The Mike Wright kid, if I'm a defensive coordinator, scares me to death.
Oh, yeah.
All right, scares me to death because that dude can absolutely Chrissy Yamaguchi put the skate on and go Apollo Ono. All right? Yes, that was a figure skating and speed skating reference in one. We got a deep bag like that
talent.
here, okay? But at the end of the day, I think Anthony Richardson, the Transformer, Avenger, Justice League member that he is just going to be too much for Vandy. And I think Florida has kind of found a little, as a team that's been schizophrenic through the year, they've kind of found a little rhythm. And what do they say on Cool Runnings, Cone? One for the rhythm, one for the rhyme. Come on, guys.
It's Bob Said's time. And I think Florida could go full Tanya Harding here and just take the knees out from Vandy.
God, the skating references are on fire.
Look,
All right, guys.
We'll go.
I'll see yours.
We'll go. I'm trying to remember any other skater. I'm trying to remember other than Jimmy McElroy and Chaz Michael Michaels. But speaking about a guy who I don't know if he can skate or not, we'll find out. Our buddy, former quarterback at Georgia, hell of a player, does a great job. You can find him as a football analyst everywhere. Does a great show on T-Bob, with T-Bob, not on T-Bob, with T-Bob from The Volume. Our buddy, Aaron Murray. Aaron, what's up, man?
I don't know if I was joining a football show, a skating show this morning, making sure I'm in the right spot.
It's a little bit of everything.
Man.
It's a little bit of
welcome to
everything,
it.
man. It's kind of what it's like The Sims. It's your world. Just build it how you want.
A little bit. I love it. What's up? Good morning, fellas.
Good morning. Appreciate you getting up with us, man. I want to. What we want to do, Aaron, and we've done this with one guest before. So we came up with our top 12. I know you can see this. Our top 12 and what it would look like with a 12-team playoff right now. All right, and I just want to make sure our audience understands that we had Ole Miss at number 12. But in the new rules for the 12-team format, a group of 5 team has to be in there at the 12 spot. They don't have to be at the 12 spot, but we put UCF at the 12 spot. That's the way it worked out. So Ole Miss would not be in the playoffs. Sorry, guys. Y'all can continue to pile on me. That's totally fine. I'm here for it. Scared money don't make no money. But, Aaron, top 4 getting a bye from the highest 4-ranked conference champions. So Georgia, Ohio State, TCU, and Clemson. You want to go through and make some predictions with us on this?
Let's go, baby. Come on.
Let's do it. LSU and Alabama. Oh,
Rematch.
boy.
Neutral
I'm
site.
already sold. I'm absolutely already sold.
Wait, hold on. Would this be a rematch or would this be our first round games at
This will be on campus.
this will be on campus?
Yeah.
Campus.
Yeah, it'll be on campus. So at Bama,
Ooh.
LSU going to Bama. I've got to go Bama here. I don't think lightning can strike twice. Not that it was such a crazy outcome, but LSU did catch some breaks. Bryce Young with the early pick kind of kept them in it a little bit. Didn't have them falling off a cliff. I'm going to go Alabama here, David. Who you going with?
Wouldn't it be in Baton Rouge?
In Baton Rouge, I'm
Rouge,
sorry.
actually.
Losing my
Baton
mind.
Rouge?
I'm looking at the team in the bottom. I'm so used to the NCAA tournament.
Look, man, I really thought LSU had a chance to beat them the first time. I ended up being right, even though I did take Alabama to win the game. Look, man, I don't think you could beat Alabama twice in a year.
It's tough. It's
go
tough.
Bama.
It's like trying to beat your dad up twice in the
Yeah.
same year. You're only going to be able to sneak him once. Blaine, who do you got?
Who does Bryce Young play for?
Yeah, Alabama.
Yeah, give me Bama.
Aaron, who you going with? Bama at LSU round 2 in round 1.
I'm going to go with LSU in this one.
Ooh, I
Once again,
like
think
this.
I think what we've seen all year long is the importance of home field advantage. So the game back in Baton Rouge, and I just love Harold Perkins at linebacker. I know you guys do too. You know what he does to eliminate mobile quarterbacks and what Bryce Young does well at quarterback. Like I just don't trust the receivers at Alabama. I've said it from this offseason throughout the year. They're just not good enough to win in a conventional way. Like, they need Bryce to be Superman. They need Bryce to create time in the pocket. They need him to run around making guys miss. And as we've seen in the game versus Alabama, and then obviously we saw last week with LSU, Harold Perkins will just demolish any type of quarterback. So I think round 2, it'd be kind of the same thing, if not better, for LSU to slow down Alabama's offense as LSU continues to get better on that side of the football. So I'm just not sold on Alabama this year at all. I think they're a good team, not a great team. I think LSU would win once again in a rematch.
It'd be crazy. And people say, oh, well, you put all the SEC teams in one corner. That's the way the top 12 worked out. Now, would the committee finagle that? I don't know. I'm not, I don't have enough money or know enough people to be able to get back in those rooms with a cigar and a map of Europe and figure out how this is going to go down, all right? But, Aaron, if we'll go, obviously, majority rule here. Let's say Alabama moves on to play Georgia. Alabama and Georgia, I'm going to go with the dogs.
I'm interested to see you, Aaron.
I'm going with the dogs. Aaron, who are you going with?
I'm going with Georgia. Georgia's the best team in the country. They're the most complete team in the country. Like, there is not another team. And I was actually thinking about this yesterday and talking with T-Bob about it. Like, Ohio State, obviously, a little bit one-dimensional running the football. I want to see what they look like versus Michigan. Defensively, they seem to be improved, but we're not sure. Michigan's a little bit one-dimensional. Great defensive team, can run it, but I just don't trust JJ. Like, there isn't another team that is complete on both sides of the football. And Georgia's had their moments this year where they're not been great running it, but I still trust that offense. And then obviously really, really trust what they're doing on the defense side of the football. I don't know, man. Not to go too far ahead in this whole playoff scenario right now, but like, I don't see anyone slowing down Georgia going forward this season. Like, when they turn it on, as we've seen it at various moments in this year, they're just hard to beat. So yeah, my dogs take care of business. And plus, man, they ain't scared of Alabama anymore. Like, they got that monkey off their back last year. I think Georgia walked into the game feeling like, hey, we are the big dogs in the conference and we're the big dogs in the country, similar to what Alabama has, had that mental advantage for the past decade plus.
Yeah, well, to use our buddy T-Bob's favorite movies reference, Star Wars, seems like Georgia does have the high ground now. But I want to ask you this real quick, Aaron, on Georgia. I've said this multiple times. I firmly believe, and people think I'm crazy, I would much rather, if I was having to face a Georgia team, face last year's Georgia team than this year's Georgia team. Because I feel like this year's Georgia team can beat me in more ways than that team last year. And I know Nakobe Dean was a freak, all right? I know Jordan Davis was a freak. But I would much rather have to play a team that I know there are more narrow paths for them to be able to beat me than a team now that's more open. Todd Monken, I think, opened it up this year like you wanted to a little bit last year. Stetson's playing with nothing to lose. He's a hero forever. Could have lost every game this year and still build a statue of him. But do you feel the same way, or do you think I'm reaching there?
No, I don't think you're reaching all. And I'll take it a step further when you talk about the offense for Georgia. I think Georgia's offense is more difficult to game plan against than, say, even Tennessee's offense. What Tennessee does, I'm just talking about game plan. I'm not saying going against, but just game planning wise. Tennessee's offense, the reason why it's, most of the time it's so successful, it's the tempo, it's the width at which they play. It makes it really tough on a defense to kind of like, hey, do we put enough guys in the box? Do we put more guys on the edges against the pass? It puts you in a bind. But when it comes to prep wise, it's kind of like, okay, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. When you look at Monken this season, and he did last year too, the formations, the personnel groups, the motions, the shifts, the getting in the bunch, the moving Bowers around, the moving Darnell around, like, it is an absolute nightmare for a defensive, coordinator and a defense to communicate everything that's going on. Like, you're going from 11 to 12 to 13 personnel, to 21 personnel to, like I said, tight ends being flexed around, backs being moved around. It's a lot that he's throwing at defenses each and every week. So, like, man, I've absolutely loved what he's doing. And they're doing all this without their best receiver. Like, I keep saying every week, like, AD could be back this week. AD could be back next week. You put him into the fold along with how well Ladd's playing, how well the tight ends are playing, and obviously the confidence in which Stetson has played with this entire season. Yeah, I'm with you, man. This is a more complete team on both sides. And I think their defense, too, in the secondary, you could say is probably better this year than they were last year. Like, their front seven last year, hands down, was tremendous. I still think Jalen was the best player on defense last year. He's the best defensive player on the team this year. But their secondary is more experienced. And obviously having Starks back there as a freshman and how high, what he's playing like right now against offenses that want to throw the football, I think honestly is a better matchup in today's game compared to having a dominant front seven.
I agree with you 100%. All right, do we agree Georgia gets by Bama here, makes the Final Four?
Yeah.
We're in agreement there. All right, let's go down bottom left. If you're on audio, just go to YouTube, open your eyes, you can see this as well. All right, Tennessee versus Oregon, the 5 versus 11 matchup. Cone, this would be magically delicious.
And Oregon is a very good football team. I think they run formation to the boundary as well as anyone in the country. But I think on the road, in Knoxville, which is where this game would hypothetically be, I would go with Tennessee. It's not as simple as saying, well, they share a common opponent, and Georgia beat Oregon 49-3, and Tennessee kept it closer. It's not that simple, but you do have to take it into consideration. I'd take the Volunteers.
I'm with you on that. I think Tennessee just scores too many. Not that Oregon's not going to score. Obviously, Bo Nix has really elevated his game. The completion percentage is just totally flipped from where it was at Auburn. He's playing in the pocket, through the pocket, which has made him much more efficient. We all know how athletic he is. Give me Tennessee. Blaine.
Close game. Both the defense don't show up. Give me Hendon Hooker in Tennessee.
Aaron, Tennessee hosting Oregon. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Tennessee all day. And Nealon and Bo's fared well in the Pac-12. And listen, I liked Bo last year at Auburn. I thought he took massive steps in the right direction. Just didn't have a lot of talent around him, and that really hurt. So I've always known and felt that, like, man, he has the potential to be great, and we've seen those moments this year, but he has struggled against the SEC. So, coming all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast and Neyland, we've seen how terrible that place is to play at for opponents this season. I take Tennessee, but I agree with you guys. Like, it's going to be a great game, high-scoring game. The one thing you want to do, take the over. It's going to be like a 55-50 game for sure.
Can you imagine that atmosphere? The Vol Navy for that game? Oh my gosh!
Not really.
I don't know how I've coached there. The ground shakes. That's how loud it gets. I don't know how you can stay up when you're running. All right, so Tennessee versus TCU. This is another great matchup. All right, so Max Dugan. It's a great story. We always talk about what's another great story. Hansel and Gretel, Little Red Riding Hood. We know what happened to them. TCU's found a way to win. Love their wide receiver room. Absolutely love their wide receiver room. They got tall guys that can run, short guys that can fly, middle guys that can do both. They're exciting to me, but I like the way they've won games defensively too, including at Texas on the road, a big one they had to get over the hump. But Hendon Hooker's the difference to me. All right, like I said, the most dangerous hooker since Eileen Warno, so I'm going to stick with it. I think Tennessee finds a way to win this game. Maybe a little more low-scoring than what people thought, but I like Tennessee in this game, Blaine. Who do you like?
I like Tennessee. TCU, cool story. Defense, terrible. Max Duggan.
Terrible?
Yeah, they're giving up 44 points a game.
10 to Texas.
What about the rest of the season?
Undefeated.
They stepped up against Texas.
I don't think they're terrible.
Okay,
they're
step
not
up
good.
one game
They're
out of
not
the
good,
season.
but they're not terrible.
You step up one game out of the season, and it's fixed, guys.
Let me show you a terrible defense.
When they needed to.
Let me show you a terrible defense. Look at North Carolina. That's
terrible
a terrible
defense. Yeah, terrible defense. I mean, TCU, North Carolina, Spider-Man.
Well, North Carolina makes TCU.
Spider-Man diff? Oh, what? What's the difference?
I think the one we're about to get to up there, North Carolina and USC, that's Spider-Man gif.
Yeah, that's true.
The TCU's defense is just as bad as North Carolina. North Carolina's a little worse and just as bad as USC's. Go through their throughout the year. Like statistically, they are just as bad as those teams.
They give up 40 points to App State in the fourth quarter.
No, let's do this. We're gonna do this.
Aaron, what do you think?
No. Let's do this
on TCU's defense there.
I'm not sold on their defense. I was more the feeling of like Ewers should have been benched last week. I mean, we've seen him twice this season. Kind of look like the game was happening way too fast for him. Just late on throws. And I'm surprised Sark didn't. I mean, Sark should have benched him weeks ago in that the previous loss. I thought you go to Hudson Card and let him go out there and play the second half. They had opportunity to win that game. And I think they should have gone to him this game as well. So, I mean, yes, TCU, great job. You stopped Bijan, but I think the first thing is first. Like, if you know that Quinn Ewers just isn't performing, stack the box, stop the run. And Quinnen just, to me, like I said, the game is happening a little bit too fast for him right now. I think if he comes out and struggles the next week or two, I think you just say, hey, man, like, get your butt on the bench, relax. We'll get you ready for next season and that quarterback competition against Manning. So, but no, it was impressive to see TCU come out there and do their thing. But Tennessee, man, I think Tennessee and Hendon Hooker would run, laps around those guys. I think they win. I think they win kind of big too.
Okay, I think they win as well. I don't think it's big, though. I think that could be an overtime type of game. I mean, Tennessee's defense isn't that great either, but I do think it would be a good matchup.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good matchup, and that's what this comes down to. All right, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. All right, so we got Georgia and Tennessee meeting again in the Final Four. USC versus North Carolina in a game where I don't know if there's enough light bulbs on the scoreboard to be able to hold what would happen, but I think the difference, Drake May versus Caleb Williams. Holy hell, what a matchup.
Wow.
You know what, guys? Give me North Carolina.
You'll take North Carolina.
Give me North Carolina in this one. Travis Dye, unfortunately, got hurt for USC. Not that Jones or the third running back, can't remember his name, he can actually absolutely fly. But give me North Carolina in this one. Drake May, who's got thrown off more platforms than Motley Crue. Give me North Carolina.
I think that kid is amazing, man. Could potentially even win the Heisman this year. I think, like we said, North Carolina's defense actually pitched a shutout against Wake Forest in the fourth quarter this past go-round. Both of these teams are about to face their toughest competition yet. I think Southern Cal would find a way to win.
Blaine?
Give me USC. I think USC's just got a little bit more weapons. I don't know Drake May. He can do as much as he can, but I don't think it'll be enough. A healthy, other than Travis Dye, I mean, you still got Jordan Addison. You got Go Crazy Mario.
He's going to start balling, though.
So give me USC.
Like, Jordan Addison's got to start showing up a little bit, man. Aaron, what do you think?
No, I agree. I like USC in this one. I mean, you're talking about I think right now, two of the best quarterbacks in the country. If I had to rank the Heisman, I'd go 1, Caleb, 2, Drake at the moment. They're just playing at high levels, but I think USC, because of the weapons, takes this one. But it'd be an epic game. Like, this would be like a USC Texas national championship type game. Whoever has the ball last is going to win it.
That's exactly right. All college football fans win in these matchups anyway. All right, so USC wins by default. USC versus Ohio State. Give me Ohio State.
Buckeyes.
Too physical on defense. Too physical in general. I think USC will be able to score some points, but I like the Buckeyes. Gravity and physics takes over.
Buckeyes.
Aaron?
Buckeyes all day.
You love to see it. All right, let's go down. Michigan versus UCF. All right, Gus, you finally made the playoff, bud. You finally made the playoff. Best of luck against Michigan and the big guys from 7 Foot Island over there up front. Give me Michigan. John Reese Plumlee can't throw the ball. I don't see a way in which I love Travis Williams as the DC. I just don't think they have the Jims and Joes to stop Michigan. Blake Corum runs for over 200 yards.
Ooh, I like
McCarthy
that.
Runs for over 100 yards.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
One of those.
How about Donovan Edwards?
Donovan Edwards he's going to hang out too. So give me Michigan beating UCF.
Well, the thing
you like.
Go ahead.
Give me Michigan, but close.
Oh,
Really?
real close. You
Okay,
go close.
Real close.
No, because here's the thing. UCF already understands that even if they don't win the national championship, they can still claim that they're national champions.
For sure. That's exactly
they know
right.
that
They're good at that.
that is an option, so they can take that. Give me the Michigan Wolverines big.
Aaron.
Oh, they embarrassed them. There's no doubt about it. Like, this is a, especially in Michigan, late in the season.
Oh,
it's gonna be cold.
In Ann Arbor.
Yeah, those boys.
Come on up.
Not a lot of
boys.
Michiganders on that UCF team either.
Yeah, they're going to be freezing. They're not going to want to come out of the locker room. So Michigan will just beat them up at the line of scrimmage and roll in a really big way versus the Knights.
All right, so they'd move on. Clemson,
We were talking
Michigan,
about this one for a while
to
this
see
season.
who's going to play
Battle of the Under.
Ohio State. I don't trust DJU. I don't think Cade Klubnik's ready to go win a game like this. So give me Michigan, J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, the gang. I think this is a low-scoring game. I think this is a low-scoring, maybe a 24-17 type game, maybe 21-17 type game. Give me Michigan to win it, DJU with a big pick 6 at the end.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think, despite the quarterback carousel there in Clemson, they still have a legitimate shot to make this college football playoff, and Dabo Swinney has proven when he makes the playoff, he can do some serious damage. I do think in this football game, though, I would take Michigan.
Fine.
Give me Michigan. Take the under for sure. There might be a total of 14 points in this game. But give me Michigan.
Aaron, who you like?
I don't know. Look what Notre Dame did to Clemson. I think Michigan could do the same thing. Like, I'm not like we hyped up this Clemson defense to start the year off like this is the one of the best D lines we've ever seen. And I think they've been good. Don't get me wrong, and they're still one of the top ones out there. But like they have not been to the elite level that I was expecting to start the season. I think both quarterbacks for Clemson aren't good. Like I know you've kind of been on the hey bench DJU, put Cade in there.
Might as
I don't
well.
think Cade's good at all. Like Cade is not ready to play football. Like DJU, I'm sorry, is the best option on that Clemson football team to finish the season out. Is he good? No, but he's better than what Cade can go out there and produce at the moment. I think you got to stick with DJU going forward. But no, Michigan's going to be able to run the football. They're going to be able to stop him on defense. I think Michigan wins a low-scoring game. I think like 21-10 type football game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, and look, I'm going to give Dabo a pass. He hit on a lot of quarterbacks. This is really the first one he's kind of missed on.
I don't know if he really.
And he even had flashes
to know. What he can really.
Well, it's again. I think he had the opportunity, a couple weeks ago to go in there and against Syracuse, got the benefit of some penalties. But all right, let's finish this bad boy out. Georgia versus Tennessee, Ohio State versus Michigan. God is good. That is fantastic. Give me Georgia to play Ohio State in the national championship game. I've got Georgia winning it back-to-back. Athens, don't burn it down, but let's party.
Blaine.
Give me Georgia versus Ohio State in the national championship game, and give me Ohio State.
Wow.
National.
Really?
Wow.
CJ Stroud, that receiver crew.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
They beat Georgia.
God, versus Malachi Starks. Somebody
by a field goal. Late field goal.
Aaron, go ahead.
It's interesting, this whole exercise right now. We get to who I believe are the top 4 teams in America at the moment: Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and Tennessee. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get like that. Michigan, who I think is going to lose to Ohio State in a close game in a couple weeks or a week and a half, probably going to be on the outside looking in because of their weak schedule they've had this season. But there's no doubt, these are the 4 best teams in America. So, I feel like if everyone ran through this exercise, we would all kind of get to the same conclusion. Hey, it is Georgia, it's Ohio State, it's Michigan, and it's Tennessee as the 4 teams that could possibly win a natty. I am really interested in the Tennessee rematch against Georgia in a neutral site. I think Tennessee's better than what we saw in Athens. I think Hendon would play a better game. I think it'd be more competitive, but I will go with Georgia to win it. And then I'll stick with Ohio State to win in that rematch as well. So Georgia, Ohio State, and of course, give me my dogs to win. Like I said, they're more complete on both sides. Ohio State's benefited on defense from not really playing a lot of elite offenses this year. They're better. I don't think they're elite. And if you can't run the football and you're one-dimensional, as Georgia's proven this whole year, they will just eat you up on the defense side of the football. So give me the dogs in a great national championship.
Cone, tell us
the dogs.
What?
And the Michigan Wolverines in the championship for a rematch of last season. And Jim Harbaugh, he goes into that national championship. He walks in there and he defies the odds. And he covers that spread.
There you go. What would that spread be?
A lot.
Hey, I will say this one thing. I think every Georgia fan right now is praying Michigan beats Ohio State in a week and a half, because I just think Michigan's a good team. Don't get me wrong. I like them. I think they're a top 4 team. I think they deserve to be in there. But I've said it before. They to me are like a poor man's version of Georgia. They want to be Georgia, but they're just not as athletic and they're not as good. And we saw that last year in the first round of the playoffs. And I think if Michigan does win versus Ohio State and Ohio State gets left out, I think you might as well just crown Georgia the national championships at that point.
Yeah, I do think from a roster standpoint, Ohio State does have a much higher ceiling with some of the playmakers that they have. Now, Jackson Smith and Jigba's been hurt. Marvin Harrison Jr. to me is the best wide receiver in the country. I haven't seen a better one than him. And I said wide receiver. Brock Bowers is a tight end who I'll continue to say it. I think he's more athletic than Travis Kelce. I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I'll scream it from the mountaintop. Wow. I think he's that good. We'll see. Okay, we'll see.
Right now, he's more athletic.
No, I'm talking about when he gets to the NFL and he gets in a system. I think they may have him at 4 different positions. They're two different players. Yeah. They're 2 different players. I think you can do more things with Brock Bowers. I really think you can.
Hey, I don't know. So I was with Travis for 2 years.
Oh, he's a freak too, Aaron. I don't want people to think I'm not saying. No. He's on my fantasy team. Hell, I drafted him in second.
No. What I'm trying to get to is they're very different. Travis has a lot more wiggle to him. Travis has some moves and he can bend in ways you're like, damn, that 6'4", tight end / receiver should not be able to get that low to the ground. I think that's his difference. He's there's that shake to him. Bowers to me is more straight line speed. He's faster, maybe a little bit more physical. Well, Travis can block now, so I don't know. I would take either one of them, but I will say they're better at different things. So it depends on what your offense is. But I mean, shoot, I was in Kansas City when Travis really got going. And that was really when the tight end body started getting moved around a lot. Like he would move to receiver, he would motion out, he'd be in the backfield. Andy Reid has done a tremendous job with really developing him into, the premier tight end in the NFL right now.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's a great problem to have. You'd love to have both of them. I'd love to see Andy Reid with Brock Bowers and Travis. That'd be unfair. Like at some point, you just got to give it to God, I guess. But Aaron, I really appreciate it, my friend. It's always great stuff when we have you on. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah. So ESPN, I'm with ESPN this year. It's been great. Obviously, you talked about it earlier. T-Bob and I got a great show we do every day in the afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's called Snaps. As you guys know, T-Bob just, keeps me on my toes. He's a wild man. And then I do a little Sirius XM SEC channel from 3 to 6 every afternoon as well. So staying busy. And then getting ready to at any moment now. My wife's about to pop out number 2. So
congrats.
Hey.
Congrats.
Me too, buddy.
Yeah, you and Cutter in the same boat over here. All right, appreciate you.
See you, boys.
See you.
All right, brother. See ya. Okay. One question for the Booster Club, Blaine.
Okay, let's go to Sir Goolsby. $10 donation. So all the top teams in the country, Jake and David, who do you think is most likely to beat Georgia and why? All the top teams. Blaine, add me on Rocket League. I'm champion 1. Damn.
Let's get on some Rocket.
We'll get on the Rocket.
Champ 1.
Teams that can beat Georgia, I think Ohio State has the roster athletically that can beat Georgia.
And it would be indoors.
It'd be on a fast track. Man, outside of that, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think there's another team that can do it. I just don't.
Tennessee rematch?
Maybe. But again, I default back to I do feel like Georgia, and I know it was at home, was the more physical team.
That's what I was saying.
That's what it comes down to me.
That next day, despite the 8 false start penalties, it did not feel like a home field advantage win. It felt like Georgia was going to beat Tennessee anywhere in the country. But a rematch, by definition,
hard to beat a good team twice.
It's hard to beat a good team twice.
Tennessee would probably be second.
Aaron was saying about as it relates to Michigan matching up with Georgia, a big part of this, I keep saying this, is these playoff games will be at neutral sites indoors.
Yeah.
That really takes away a big element of what Michigan wants to do. And you could see a situation if Michigan is able to go into the horseshoe, be more physical in a snowy game, just like we saw last year, and beat them, which wins them an opportunity to go to the playoff where all of the games are indoors. And now all of a sudden, you match up with a Tennessee or a TCU or a Georgia with these high-powered offenses. I think the Buckeyes would be able to match up better against Georgia inside late in the season.
I do think that's a valuable point. Another valuable point, if you want to watch the rest of the show, remember, you can listen and stay here, but if you want to watch it, head over to the Daily Wire Plus, become a member. Listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with all your friends and everybody else, too. We'll be right back. All right, every Thursday we do trivia. Cone, what do you got for us?
All right.
We're going to be champions today.
We've been talking about the Pac-12 a lot recently. So I looked up some information here. 4 Pac-12 teams have won the consensus national championship in football, and 6 Pac-12 teams have won the NCAA basketball national championship. I want you to give me both. The 4 programs that won football national championships from the Pac-12, consensus national champions, and the 6 programs that won basketball national champions. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and you get 3 wrong answers. You ready?
Yes.
Go.
USC.
Yes.
All right,
football. For football.
Basketball. UCLA.
Yes.
Football. Colorado.
Yes.
Football.
Colorado won a championship?
Yeah.
Yes.
Basketball. Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got 2 footballs left.
UCLA.
He already said
said
UCLA.
that.
For football?
Yeah.
Yeah. UCLA for football. You have 1 left for football. Pac-12 team.
Washington.
Yes, you have all the footballs. USC, UCLA, Washington, and
all right,
Colorado.
Now basketball we have.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
Okay, I said UCLA. I said Arizona. Give me God, so I can just hear everybody screaming right now. I said Arizona for basketball.
Yeah.
Give me. Come on, Blaine. Who do you think?
No
here?
Googling over there.
I'm not
Who do
gonna
you think
know.
here? Basketball. Think about it. How much time we got? We should have a lot of time.
You have 1 minute left.
Okay, we said who?
You said Arizona and UCLA. You have 4 remaining from the Pac-12.
In the Pac-12. Have you said USC?
No.
USC? Okay.
They have not won a basketball national championship.
That's wild.
Gosh, come on, man.
4 left. 40 seconds.
Arizona State.
No.
Oh my.
Oregon.
Oregon has won one. Yes.
Yes. Okay. How many do you have left in
Stanford.
basketball?
Stanford has won one. You have 2 left and 30 seconds. Pac-12. Pac-12. Pac-12.
Cal.
Yes, Cal.
How many do we have left?
You have 1 left and 20 seconds.
Oh, Blaine.
One Pac-12 team, basketball national
Tell me the
championship.
Tell me what we
It's
said.
gotta be.
Tell me what we said.
Hold on. It's gotta be. I know this. Utah.
Utah. Yes.
Come on.
Let's
Utah. Well done.
Let's go.
8 seconds ahead of schedule.
Let's go. Put that one on the TikTok. All right.
Very nice.
Give me. We got mailbag.
I'll give you a
now?
little sound.
Yeah,
little
give me
sound
some.
for that because you did such a good job.
Good job, dude.
What do you want? You want a mailbag question?
Go mailbag.
Mailbag question. We got a question here from Jessica. Hey guys! ! Love the show, and I have a question for you. My brother's 30th birthday is coming up, and I don't know what to get him. He already has a Daily Wire membership.
Love
He
it.
already has Crane and Company merch.
You love it.
I'm at a loss. Thanks. Sincerely, what do you get a man who already has everything and listens to the greatest sports show?
Dave, we kind of talked about this, and I don't know if it's on the shop yet. And you could get it. You're talking about getting it for Penny Lane.
Yes, the Daily Wire Dog Bowl. Have you seen this yet?
No, it's a
The
great.
Daily Wire has it.
sweet.
I'm getting one for Penny Lane.
Yeah.
You got to get one for your pups.
Oh, for
So
sure.
Daily Wire. It's like it's a leftist cheers tumbler for dogs.
That's absolutely
It's
fantastic.
awesome. I saw
By the way, go check out our merch. You can find the link. We'll put the link in the description too. Go ahead and check that out. We got some great new stuff that's hitting as well. I'm trying to think of something to get him that has been great for me, that I've really, really enjoyed as a man, that I can talk about on this show. Give him, I tell you what,
Black Rifle Coffee?
you want to know something
Black
that's
Rifle
actually
Coffee.
really useful to me outside of getting more merch, Crane Company merch from the Daily Wire? One of the things you put in your car that you put your phone on.
Yeah, for
Instead
sure.
of having to set it down.
For sure.
Like, now look, I plug mine in, USB, let's get the tunes going, little, more M's, Drake, 21 Savage, we see how it goes a little
You
bit.
heard the new album?
Yeah, it's all right.
Get out.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
Well, you got to understand, I'm from the generation when Drake was really,
Oh, okay.
really, really popped up.
Okay. Well, I was in high school when
Nothing
the best
nothing
album
ever was
came
the
out,
same.
so.
So anyways, get him one of those phone holder things.
What do you
All
get,
right.
Dave? What do you get?
How about an experiential gift? This is something I go to a lot. Take him to a game. What's his favorite team? I don't know, the zoo.
You know,
A
well,
lot of things- a lot of things to do.
you know what you ought to do?
Zoo.
Experience. You ought to take him to one of those escape room places, which I would never go myself.
You wouldn't do
because
one? We should do a
I mean,
Crane and Company escape.
we should
You
do
want to
a
know how
Crane
you
and
get out of an escape room?
Huh?
Let me out, or I'm suing. All right.
You probably have to sign a
Oh,
waiver
man.
before you do it, saying you get.
I'm signing.
Blanket's in there. It's like, all right. They're like, all right, guys, we're gonna leave you in here. Good luck escaping. And they go out, and Blade's like, calls his lawyer.
Yeah.
He's like, hey man, I'm in this room. They won't let me out.
Shows up.
It's like, yeah, I got Alexander Shinar on the phone.
Yeah. Don't say his name 3 times.
Yeah, say his name 3 times. He's gonna pop
Oh
up
my
back here.
God!
like
You say his name
Beetlejuice.
3 times, the furniture will start floating around the room.
I swear.
That's still maybe the funniest thing ever of all time.
when
on the
David
show.
was Dr. Strange.
When Blaine was like, "Tote Doctor Strange."
Yeah, that's like
Dave
my chair's starting to shake and go through the ground. Them will pop up.
That's one of the funniest things I've ever
chair's gonna
heard.
fall in Tokyo or something.
All right, our Booster Club leaderboard. Johnson _TC's 5-0. Okay, almost halfway there. Kyle Jenkins is 4-0.
Yeah.
Ulrich Sharber and 4 J's, 3 B's, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. They're both 3-0. BJPS 09 XU13's 2-0. Win 2144 is 2-0. Tyson's right hook. Portman Towit is 2-0. Sasha's Booster Club lost yesterday. Jay Dorauer 23, 0 for 2. Remember, if you don't know, then you do know. And that brings me to this month. Here's what we got tonight. Blaine, I got to get your bets.
You go 2-0, you say, Dave?
Yes.
Yeah.
2-0.
2-0.
Houston and Michigan.
Give me Green Bay money line and the under of 48.5 at +125. Then, Got a sneaky good college game tonight, guys. Tulane and SMU. Some stuff online here. SMU's really turned it on offensively. Tulane coming off a tough loss and a big moment. Lost opportunity for them at home against UCF. But give me Tulane. Think they're a 3.5-point favorite on the money line. And give me the over at 59.5. I don't think the regular over on the non-alternate line is going to hit. I think Tulane's going to be able to run the ball with some success against SMU, keep their offense a little bit off the field. And when SMU's played good defenses, they've struggled. Cincinnati, we've seen that before. That's when they've had their lowest output, even though they scored over 41 points in the last 3 games. So give me the Tulane money line, the over 59.5. That's plus 135. Just having fun now. Blaine, what do you got?
Give me the Titans plus 3.5 and the under at 41.5. That's plus 215.
You're taking what?
I'm taking Tennessee plus 3.5 and the under at 41.5. That is plus 215.
And what's your second one?
Give me Derrick Henry, first touchdown scorer at plus 430.
Ooh.
That's to score the first touchdown of the game.
All right, you hit one for like 230 yesterday, didn't you?
I hit the under 40-something, and Western Michigan plus 10.5 parlay. What was my other bet, 55.5?
Yeah.
You missed by the hook. You missed by the hook.
God! I couldn't find it. Didn't tweet it out. I thought I had it at 54.5.
Stuff. Coney.
I still can't find that Arizona State-Michigan line for college basketball, so I'll be on the lookout for that.
Dude, it's not anywhere. We
Can't find it anywhere.
We looked at the telescope.
So I'm going to go double football here. I want to take the Titans plus 3.5 plus the under at 40.5, and that's at plus 260. I think that's similar to Blaine's bet, but not exactly. And
Dang, you got a much better deal on that than Blaine did. Well, yours is one less. Okay, I get it.
My under's lower.
Yeah, it's one less.
All right, then I want Tulane SMU under 66.5 at minus 135. This one's a little bit risky. We know how many points SMU can put up, but Tulane has a good defense, and I believe it's supposed to rain over there all day.
And I believe that Tulane, I think, is top 20 or top 30 in pass defense, too.
Yeah,
so
giving up 19 points a game.
Yeah, so Baby Cone, he's going to take a Derrick Henry anytime touchdown at minus 150, and the Titans-Packers under 41 at minus 110 in a game that just looks.
Did you say Arizona State?
Michigan,
yeah, in
Arizona
basketball.
State.
Michigan versus Arizona State.
Yeah, Michigan slapped somebody last night.
Yeah, it was.
I can't remember. I think they were a 9.5-point favorite when you took them. Houston covered that minus 30 pretty easy for you. I think they ended up winning by 35.
So Michigan is a 7.5-point favorite.
Michigan beat Pitt. That's who it was. 91-60. Tennessee had a big win, 81-50 yesterday.
Coming off that
How you feel
loss.
about Houston?
We don't have
I took
a problem.
them minus 30.
Yeah, we don't have a problem, Houston.
Arkansas, big win. Then we talked about Texas.
Arkansas got Bay Fall, too, a guy to commit. And then I think Collier went to USC. He's number 6, at least in ESPN, number 6 overall player in the country.
You said you couldn't find the spread for this game?
No, we looked this morning.
Minus 7.5, the over-under is 140.
Must have popped up during the show.
Interesting.
You want to change a bet?
It's minus 7.5.
Michigan, yeah.
You want to change a bet? We still have time.
What do I have
Let me sneak
here?
back up there. I can sneak back up there.
I'll stick with what I have. Maybe that was God's way of telling me.
It may
Stay
have
away
been.
from
Stan?
You trusting the signs?
I'm trying to trust signs right now.
That's great.
You know, trying to come into this with no emotion.
I don't trust that movie.
Which one?
Signs.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't trust it? Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
M. Night Shyamalan.
No.
I tell you what I do trust, the Booster Club. What's going on over there?
Well, Dylan Hammock, $5 dono.
Appreciate it, Dylan.
Good morning, boys. Dylan, good morning to you, good sir. If you were in the NFL and scored a touchdown, what would your touchdown celebration be?
Hey, you're the ref. You're the ref.
Okay, I'm the ref.
There.
Right there?
Thank you.
That's 100%
Go back
what
to
your
work.
celebration.
Yeah. Go score again the next
You're
drive.
so
Hey, you know my
You're so
celebration?
Russell
Like who was he? Alex Pereira
Russell.
knocked out Adesanya. Didn't even celebrate.
Thanks, Russell.
I would probably, I always love the jumping in the crowd. But if I scored a touchdown, my celebration, I'd probably just shoot the dice with the ball. Like get everybody around, like, whatever, just shoot the dice.
That one's fun.
Thank you.
That one's always.
I'd probably just like fight a referee after I did it.
Yeah, you would do that, though.
Either that or the guy who does the reviews. What's his name?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The guy they go to when they're under a review. They're like, let's go to Tom.
Dean Blandino?
Dean
Talking about Dean
I just
Blandino?
go find him.
Don't hurt Dean Blandino. He's one of the good
I'm
ones.
not going to hurt him.
At least he's right sometimes. Mike Pereira's like, yeah, guys, they're definitely not going to overturn this one. Like, the call on the field has been overturned. It wasn't even close. We were never not going to overturn this call. At least Dean Blandino's right sometimes, but Mike Pereira does.
Did y'all see that?
But he's
absolute body that got caught last night from that Arkansas kid. Y'all didn't see that?
No.
Oh my God, he ended his whole life.
Like
I'm talking cocked back, like almost touched his ankles, cocked back.
like John Morant, like
and just destroyed the kid. The kid like fell down. His parents got called. Like apparently,
It was a dunk.
Oh God, y'all didn't see that?
Pull that
yeah,
one.
we got to pull that.
Pull that clip,
We gotta
man.
pull that one.
It was an absolute monstrosity.
Still, man. What Ant-Man did to old dude in the NBA, I don't know how it gets worse.
Who?
Ant-Man, Georgia, #1 overall pick.
Okay, Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, yeah.
Problem.
Like that dunk, I don't know how it gets
And they were trash.
worse than that.
That's how Georgia was trash with the.
Like when you look at everybody's face on the court and everybody's just like, even the guys on the other team are like he's like rising above or what. That was an absolute tomahawk jam. Wonder what that's like.
I got to give a shout out real quick to this is Josh Mahler and his crew at Rising to the Occasion.
Oh,
They have
yeah,
a
I like
show,
those guys.
Britton and Blake sent over some coffee for us boys and some Buckeyes candies.
Good.
Hey, there you
what
go,
are you
bud.
doing
That's
with
for
that?
you, bud.
Huh?
Is that really what is a Buckeye candy?
So it's like it makes it look like the Buckeye nut, and it's like peanut butter and chocolate, I guess.
Oh, I'm in. I'm sold.
I think it's peanut butter.
Sold.
I mean, they
100%.
They sent 2 packs of these.
Nice,
So I'm
Josh.
gonna save one
appreciate
for
that,
after the
man.
game next week. Hopefully a celebratory.
Okay.
What's happening the other one?
Huh?
What's happening the other one?
Yeah.
Well, that one's for you guys.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, not that one. That's the one I mean.
Oh, this is the one here. Oh, wait, there's marshmallow.
Oh
in
yeah, I
it?
forgot. There's marshmallows. in
Don't
it.
trick.
I like.
I don't think it's peanut. It might not be peanut butter.
Don't trick. Now the suit's.
Oh yeah. Chocolate and smooth, creamy peanut butter. I think it has a little marshmallow action. You want some marshmallow?
No, I'm good on that.
All right.
Thanks. I'm not a.
Okay, let's get through this. Steve's action figure frenzy says, "Hey y'all, Ohio State got blasted for the schedule when they beat Bama and Oregon. Just because they haven't been tested this year doesn't mean they can't win. We all know.
Well, you know what they say. Just because you haven't been tested doesn't mean you don't have it.
Hobo Joe says, "Love having Blaine."
Say it.
Good.
Thank you. I
was
appreciate.
laughing. I want you to know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Love having Blaine pick Ohio. That's solidified my UGA choice. Whenever it comes to UGA and picking games, pick the opposite of what I pick. The track record is not good.
At least you're honest.
Yeah. Let's go
honest.
to in Hutton, who now I've realized Hutton isn't Huddy. They're two. Hutton's BJPS.
Oh,
So I don't know.
right.
I didn't be calling him by the wrong name this whole time.
What have you been
Wow.
doing over there?
You need to figure
It's
it
just
out.
First of all, both of you, shut up.
No.
All right. This isn't easy. A lot of names going down.
Well, you
I'm
know
basically
what?
a principal going through names. All right.
Principal
So
Crane.
USC is top
That's
5 in turnover
horrifying.
margin and has the players with the most sacks in the country. Okay, we got to get past this. USC's bad on defense. All right, it's okay.
It's
We're not getting
okay.
past
That's
it.
okay.
We're not
It's
going to
okay.
get past it.
That's okay. You're really good on offense. I mean, you have stars on offense, but your defense, it's trash. All right, it's just trash. Trust me, I'm an Auburn fan. Our whole team's trash.
You said, "Trust me, I know what I'm saying."
Like, our whole team is trash, but y'all have a really good offense. You got to be excited
Trust me.
about this.
I know what I'm saying. Okay.
I don't know what that was. Now the suits are messed up. Let's go to. Let's go back to. Okay, Dylan Hemmick asked about the Arkansas. He said, "Can't believe y'all didn't see the Arkansas dunk last night." I'm somewhat disappointed in both of you.
I was watching football.
I have to see it now.
I was watching football and on my hands and knees praying for the Illinois.
Where'd you go yesterday?
Huh? 1-1.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, I hit that plus 280.
Nice.
What'd you on what?
The unders.
Unders were the play.
I said it was gonna snow. It looks like the start of Elf.
Let's go to Flaming Dragon Daily Wire chat.
Tomorrow is Flaming Dragon Friday.
It is all access today too, fellas.
All access.
There shouldn't be marshmallow in Buckeyes. All right, it's from Ohio. It's peanut butter and chocolate, like a Reese's, but better. O-H-I-O.
Well, we don't need all that, but
Go,
if you got marshmallows-
Finish it, Cone.
Huh?
Finish it.
That's the end of
That's
it.
the end of it.
Now, say, They don't say state after,
No,
like in a.
No.
I'm
just calling them what they want to be called.
I had a friend
I'm
go
just
to
calling
the,
So wait a minute, you're not. That's not an insult. Then y'all want to say that? Then okay.
yeah,
Then I don't want to hear
I had
nothing.
a friend go to.
I don't want to hear anything.
I had a friend go to the Bama Ohio State game when they played. I don't know if it was a playoff for the national championship. He said, "Look, man, I've been to a lot of games. There's nothing more annoying than them sitting in that stand doing the H." I was like, dude, I bet.
I don't know. The amount of times I heard Rocky Top at the SEC championship game in 2004 almost sent me to shit.
still
What about the cowbells, Mississippi State?
I've never really been to a Mississippi State game because you know why? Because I have better things to do than go to a Mississippi State game.
Man,
I want to go to one.
The whole state of
I don't want to go to
Mississippi.
one.
No,
The
I
whole
know.
state of
This is
Mississippi
great.
is just about.
You want to party? Go to Ole Miss. You have a great time. If you just want to try not to get jumped, go to Mississippi State.
If you want to try not to get.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
that
have
sounds like
just
a great
roll
place
down
to
the
go.
window. Welcome to State, boy. Hey, guys.
That sounds like it happened to you.
It did. No, it did. I'm talking about from experience. And one thing I'll never get out of my head is when Auburn played Georgia Tech and that damn band leader with that whistle. Till this day, I was like 14 when it happened, and I still can't get out of my head to this day. Reggie Ball, Calvin Johnson, and that person with that whistle just wouldn't stop. I respect it now. You go back and look at it. Every second of that game was beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
They just hit off. I'm over there losing
Those
my
guys
mind.
are hyped up doing it too. Those band leaders. But you'll be hyped up if you hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. We do have all access today. Make sure you check out some merch at thedailywire.com. Sign up for Daily Wire Plus as well. And let's do a poll.
And Chayton Buzzy with $2 donations. Can we get an updated best team in Florida? Best team in Florida.
Florida State.
Best team in Florida.
Florida State.
Florida State for sure. All right, it's
For sure?
No.
How about you? How about Central Florida? How about Gators? How about Miami, Blaine?
Yeah,
There's a lot of options out there for you.
Yeah,
How about
Miami doesn't care about football anymore. They just care about dropping albums and buying bottles. Is snow football weather?
No.
Yes.
50. Okay, there we go. But I'll say no, 57%.
Yes. 100%.
That's
All
kind
right, yes. 71.
Woo! Look at the booster club,
What's
man.
wrong with
They know what's going on, man.
What's okay? That's fine. Y'all go out there and play in it.
They
That's
know
fine.
what's going on.
That's fine. Find me at Tropicana Field with the dome on, with the lemonade and flip flops. Y'all have fun doing that. Please also have fun liking and subscribing. Get us tomorrow, Flamin' Dragon Friday. Appreciate Aaron Murray joining us. Follow us on all socials. Go follow our Twitter account at Crane Company. And like the chances of snow being fun to play football in, we're going.